They were hailed as soldiers. This suggests a direct link between the Islamic State group and the men involved.
Yes, and a link which isn't necessarily a material link. So the person can be linked in one way or another with someone in the ranks of the Islamic State, because otherwise they wouldn't have declared them or qualified them as soldiers. And we have bits of information saying that at least one of these guys was known from the anti-terror authorities here in France, and even that he tried maybe to go to Syria and he was stopped in Turkey, and some are saying even that he was monitored by the special services here. But it brings us back to what was just said. Nobody can prevent a person from buying a knife and killing his neighbor. It happened in Magnanville a few weeks ago when another Islamic State sympathizer or soldier killed a policeman and his wife, who was also a policewoman. So these kinds of attacks are very hard to prevent.
Hard to prevent because we're looking at a slightly different sort of attack than the very coordinated one that we'd seen on November 13th or indeed in January, where people are apparently heeding this call from Abu Muhammad al-Adnani of the Islamic State group, saying in France, don't bother coming to Syria and Iraq, but go out and use any means you can to take on the French at home. This appears to be what we're looking at again.
Exactly, this is exactly what we are looking at, and because for them, he said there's no innocent in the West, since he considers that the West is hitting their own innocents in Syria and Iraq. And in the claim, they say that this is a direct response against the countries of the coalition. So there's aims behind this. But we should also see what happened in Germany yesterday, where the same kind of attack happened, and it was a kamikaze attack, but there was no victims. Only people were wounded. And in the video claim that was issued later by the Islamic State, the kamikaze says, "I revow allegiance to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi." So he renews his allegiance, which means that he was in the ranks for him of the Islamic State. So there are many kinds of attacks. We can witness attacks like those of the 13th of November, attacks like this with knives, and we can also think that they have sleeper cells, as in Germany yesterday, who came with the refugees. That's a fact. Me myself, I got to interview a former member of the Islamic State who arrived in Europe with the refugees. So it can happen, it happens, and we are having proof of this day by day. So many kinds of attacks, many kinds of modus operandi, all in the name of the Islamic State, which wants to bring the fight here in the West and fight the countries of the coalition in their own homes.